All right. First up, we have Coach Roderick. Thank you for joining us. Let's start off with Jared and then Norma.
Hey, Coach.
How's it going?
So who's getting the most reps in practice at quarterback?
Well, as of right now, nobody's been ruled out. Jacob, Jaron, Baylor, Soljay, all out there getting reps just like always. We have a pretty good system here of giving everybody reps. But, yeah, they're all – so far nobody's been ruled out. And I will say Jaron's closer than Baylor right now. But they're all – so far they haven't told me that anybody can't play.
You knew that question was coming, so I just thought I'd ask it.
I was ready for it, and that's where we stand. So we still get one more good practice tomorrow. We'll get a lot of team reps tomorrow, and that'll be kind of we'll probably make a decision after tomorrow's practice.
The other thing I wanted to ask about, we're going to talk to Puka later, and I've known the Nacuas for a long time, and they definitely have their own attitude and personality that they bring. Sometimes they kind of walk the line. I know there was a penalty earlier in the season. How do you try and balance that? Because you want guys to have some swagger and that confidence in themselves, but at the same time, you don't want it to go too far.
Yeah, that was one penalty one time, but those guys bring so much energy to our team. First of all, they're good players. They make us better just because they're really good players. And but they also just have a presence about them that brings confidence to our team. It brings energy to our team. They love playing the game. Both of them play so hard. I think it forces everybody else to sort of raise their effort level, and they've definitely made us better.
Going back to the quarterback question, I guess, how tough is it to prepare in a week when Jaron went down, you're like, it's fine, we have Baylor, but then Baylor gets injured, and then you're like, okay, well, we have Jacob, but then you're running towards the end of your line. So how hard is it to sort of work on these guys to make sure that they're getting better, but then also be preparing the team for the next game?
It's not a big deal. That's the job. That's part of the deal. That's coaching. And like I said, right now, all of them are available as far as I know right now. So we're really not at the end of our rope right at this moment, because it feels like we're getting healthier, not less healthy.
Jay and then Jake.
Yeah, Aaron, big picture question. What, through 5 games, it's hard to nitpick. You're 5-0, but what would you like to see your offense improve, either this game or moving forward? We'd like to score a few more points. I feel like in each of our games, for various reasons, we've left a few points out there. And I think the good news is that I don't see any glaring flaw in what we're doing. We don't have any, massive weaknesses that I think we have to overcome right now. We had the first game, would have liked to have scored a few more points. We didn't finish that game the way I wanted to, but there were a lot of unknowns. Utah and Arizona State, those were just great defenses, physical games where running the ball and using the clock became part of the way to win as a team. And I thought we did a good job with that, especially in the fourth quarter in both of those games. And but in both cases, if you're not just running the ball all the time and eating the clock, you might score a few more points, but you also are giving the ball back to the other team. And so we take a lot of pride here in playing team football. And so each game, the game the other night, there was a part of that third quarter there where it was tough sledding for a minute, and we had 3 penalties. We had three possessions in the third quarter where we went 3 and out. And it really all 3 of those drives, we had a penalty that set us back. And so we were 3rd and 12 on one. We were, got to some bad down and distance situations with a 14-point lead. Our defense was playing great. So I was a little more conservative. It really didn't have anything to do with Jacob. I would have been just as conservative with anybody at quarterback right there. When you're back in your own territory with a 2-score lead and it's 3rd and 12, we're going to hand the ball off and run it. And that's just part of the game. But, in those situations, I'm talking to Coach Tuiaki about, he's sitting right next to me in the booth, and we're playing football as a team. And so I'm really happy with that. And I think we're capable of scoring a lot of points on any given Saturday. Would like to do that a little more often. And I think you'll see it. I think it'll happen.
And then you stated a few years ago you wanted to get more chunk plays, more explosive plays.
Yeah.
And you've really done that, and
Yeah.
no question about that. What has been the key to doing that, or who has been the key, maybe?
I think the key to that was just when we decided as a staff that we're going to be aggressive. We made a decision. It was around the time we played Boise State 2 years ago. We had lost to South Florida and Toledo, and kind of reached a point where we decided that, we can't just keep sustaining this, trying to stay on schedule, 4 yards here, 4 yards there, stay on schedule, 14 play drive to get a touchdown. That's hard to do. And so we started finding ways to be more aggressive, whether it was throwing the ball down the field or whether it was being creative with our personnel, and our mixing in a trick play, whatever it was. We just decided we got to be more aggressive and let it rip. And then as we've gotten just more time in the offense, our players have learned the system better. We've got experienced players. Then if you combine that with being aggressive and your ability to run the football, then the explosive plays have a chance to happen.
Aaron, where have you seen Tyler Allgeier improve the most as a running back from last year to this year?
His physical conditioning is a step above what it was last year. He's a little bit bigger, a little stronger. He's always been fast. He was fast when he got here, but he's really fast now. I don't know if you guys can tell. I thought our team speed in the game at Utah State, I thought our team speed really showed up. We're bigger than them, but our team speed took over that game. Like, their skill players can't run down our 230-pound running back in the open field. We've got team speed, and I thought our defense played 50-something snaps of man coverage in that game. I don't think that's ever been done in BYU history, to play man coverage 40, 50 snaps. And I just thought that really stood out in that game. And Tyler was sort of the leader of our team speed being on display. He's a fast dude. And the improvement he's made in a year has just been physically. He's really put in the time to build his body into a great running back.
I also wanted to ask you, how nice is it to know that you can insert Connor Pay at center and Campbell Barrington at right tackle, and seemingly your offensive line doesn't skip a beat?
Yeah, those guys did a good job. And Connor showed up in the bowl game last year for us at center, and then played a good game the other night. Campbell Barrington's going to be a great player here. He's going to be a great one. I'll say it now. He's not there yet, but he's on his way, and he's got a lot of ability.
Okay, Jared, last question.
Wanted to ask about getting ready for Boise State. What do you see from them?
I see a team that's a lot better than their record. I know that. I think everybody is surprised at what their record is, but you look at who they've played, losing a really close game to Central Florida. We all know how good they are. Oklahoma State is a very good team. I mean, that's a good football team. You can tell on film they've got big physical team, a lot of team speed. And, Nevada's a good team. I mean, they've had a couple of tough losses, I think, in there, but they're very well coached. They're still the same, like, Boise guys. I mean, they are tough guys. They do everything right. And I think the ball just hasn't bounced their way a couple times this season where it's been just super close. I mean, that Oklahoma State game, there's a couple close calls in that game where you could argue that maybe they should have won it. And so they've got our full respect, full attention. I don't see a big difference in them from now to the past. They're the same guys, same good team. Just think they've had a couple of bad breaks this season.
You've played some teams that have struggled against the run, and when you've got a running back room with Tyler and Peeney and things like that, the thought is from the outside, oh, these guys should have a heyday, but then Boise State knows that as well. So how do you kind of balance your game plan approach as you kind of look at that, at what Boise State's going to try and do in the chess match and using your horses and things like that?
Yeah, I think the rush defense thing I think it's also misleading. They have they played a couple of really unique teams. I mean, they've played some really unique teams, right? I mean, Central Florida, what they do is so unique. It's almost like you got to have a whole. It's like going to defend Air Force or something. You got to have a whole different type of thought process when you defend a team like Central Florida. And then Utah State's offense is even more unique. It's like, they're so spread across the field. They sort of force you to sort of do some things that maybe aren't your normal defense. And so I think a couple of those games where some stats show up, maybe it's not really indicative of who they really are on defense. I expect them to come in and play really tough against us, and we know we're going to get their best shot. I know they're very well coached, and they're very experienced. They've got a lot of those faces I see on that film jersey numbers I see on that film are the same jersey numbers I've been seeing for 2-3 years. So we know we're going to get their best shot, and we have nothing but respect for those guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
No problem.
All right. Next up, we have Puka Nacua. Jared, do you want to start us off?
Hey, Puka.
What's up, Jared? How you doing?
Good, man. Got to ask what the reaction was when you blocked two players in one. When you're watching on film and you block two players on the one play and you just bowled over the one guy. What's that like, watching that back with your boys and seeing that play?
It was pretty fun. I think that was like my first recorded pancake. So I immediately went to the old line. I was like, I can't wait to show you guys this play on film. And then I was wishing I could have gotten from that last defender a little bit, make sure Tyler got in the end zone. But man, it felt so fun. I don't think I've ever been so hyped on a run play. I felt like I owned everybody in the stadium. Like it was like I caught a 70-yard bomb like with one hand and I scored a touchdown. It was cool to see Tyler in the end zone just to get there, and like the momentum of that play, realizing it after the game, like we needed a drive to make sure we sustained the fourth quarter and came out with a win.
I also wanted to ask you about the swagger you and Samson bring. You guys seem to feed off each other. You kind of see that little pieces of that on the sideline. You two seem to feed off of each other. Do you feel like that's made a difference for the team? Just kind of how you feed off your own energy and the swagger you bring?
I definitely think so. I mean, it's hard. It's a brother connection that's been there, and it hasn't been like officially sparked for a long time because we haven't played together. So it's just a new energy and like the confidence of the team that has carried over from last year. We've been able to add to it, and then joining into the Brotherhood and being able to buy in with everything that Coach Kalani does here into the program. It's an energy that is contagious, and I feel like it starts with us, but there are guys and everybody just feeds off each other. It just makes football way more fun when everybody's smiling.
Jake and then Jay.
Yeah, Puka, I think as the season goes on, we're seeing you take on more of, I guess I call it a dynamic role. We're seeing you in this fly sweep. We're seeing you in a more traditional receiver role. Are you liking kind of the different ways you're being able to contribute to this offense currently?
Yeah, it's fun. I think we have an explosive offense, and we haven't really hit our full groove yet, but it's been fun to see what we've been able to put together in these games that we've had out there. I mean, we hit some good shots, and we're starting to finally find a good flow that we want to go in, but it's been fun to move around and make sure that the defense has a little difficult job finding out where we are and who's going to get the ball and who's going to make that explosive play for us.
I know you guys are focused 1 week at a time, but sitting at 5-0, it's got to be a pretty good feeling knowing, hey, we're living the dream that we kind of priced that out for ourselves to start this season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we hear it every day. It's got to come back. I think I noticed something in our workout the other day. So one of our lifting shirts is restart, refocus, and rebuild. It's like that's kind of our mentality. We come in and we got to each week after our game, we got to restart and get ready for the next guys and continue to rebuild our bodies and then get ready to kick butt on Saturdays.
Hey, Puka, how much stress does it put on the other guys when you have a quarterback situation that's so unclear like you guys' is?
We actually just barely talking this with some of the guys. I mean, I think it was pretty difficult when I know our defense was planning for Utah State. I think when I watched the Boise State game, they were playing with 2 quarterbacks, so I couldn't imagine what it's like, and especially the variety or the different play styles that our quarterbacks play with Jaron, Baylor, and then especially throwing Jacob in the mix now. So it's kind of, you get 3 different quarterbacks who are great at what they do. So it'll be interesting to see what they game plan for, but it'll be fun because I think all 3 guys, if they get out there, I mean, we're confident in what they do, so it'll be fun for sure.
Do you feel like the pressure is mounting on you guys at all as the longer this win streak goes?
I don't think so. It's so fun. Like I barely mentioned, I mean, we come in after each week. I mean, Coach Kalani and our coaching staff, and the way we run our program is definitely something that makes it easy for us. I mean, we enjoy the wins for sure, but it's right on Monday. We watch the film and get ready for the guys ahead of us, and they deserve all our attention because each week our goal could be knocked off. So everybody requires our best game. That's for sure.
Jared?
In some ways, Puka, you're used to that. I mean, for as long as I've watched you, you've been on teams that, everyone was going to give you their best shot and show you, try and knock you guys off. So I guess you're probably accustomed to that. Does that just have a sense of familiarity for you now by this point?
Yeah, definitely. But it makes it more fun because, I mean, every time in practice, I mean, we're getting all these looks and we're preparing for everybody's best. So you got to make sure that when you get that rep in the practice, that you're making sure you get your best rep because it's going to be there on Saturday and everybody's coming. So we don't get too many shots. So you got to make sure every shot counts.
Okay, last question from Trevor.
Puka, what do you feel like your biggest, your addition to the BYU offense this year has been with you and your brother Samson? Like, what's the biggest addition been with you two on the football team?
I'd say we definitely have 2 different play styles. Samson is definitely more energy and a lot more he's like a spark. I feel like I like to bring a little bit more physical. I think I'm a bigger guy, and I try to make sure that my presence is felt on the field in the pass game, in the run game. I want those defenders to feel me, make sure that I impose my will on those guys. And then Samson he's a goofball. I think every time somebody sees him on the side, they can't help but smile. He's smiling. He's always screaming, making sure everybody's ready to go. So I think it's the energy that helps us sustain throughout the game because it's hard sometimes. We've had some long games, especially some tough second half. So it's nice to see a smile when you come back after a 3 and out. Even though we didn't accomplish our goal, he makes it easier to get back out there and make sure we get our job done.
Awesome. Thanks, Puka.
Yep. See you guys.
All right. Next up, Clark Barrington, who wants to get us started off. Jake, go ahead.
Clark, just wanted to get your thoughts on finally suiting up alongside your brother on the offensive line.
Yeah, it's something I've been waiting for, and it's a dream come true. Not many people, get to play with their brothers at this level, and so, I'm just embracing every moment of it, loving it up, and it's been fun.
I know you've been entrenched at that left guard spot, and he's out there playing right tackle, but what have you had to say to him just about stepping into the lineup? What kind of wisdom have you imparted on him?
I feel like he is a lot farther along than I was, at this point in his career, and that's helped us out as an O-line, so much, create that depth, at that position, and just instilling that confidence in him, making sure he knows, hey, you know what you're doing, and just go in there and do it and kick some butt. And so just making sure he knows, we're confident in him and we know that he's going to get his job done. So.
Jared and then Trevor.
Clark, talk about just the depth of the line and the fact that it seems like over the last couple of years, it's been impressive that guys get hurt, other guys have to step up, and the line still seems to be really effective. What do you attribute that to?
For sure. It's just like every position, everybody needs to prepare as if they're going to, play in the next game. And the O-line has done a really good job with that. And just understanding that, hey, if someone goes down, next man up, and the standards are held just as high as they were before. And so just taking the field every day with that mindset that, hey, we're all preparing for this next game, and we all need to be ready to play. I think that's what it takes.
Along the same lines, though, the offensive line, perhaps more so than any single unit on the football team, has to have that communication, that unity. You guys have to know what each other's doing to make sure all of the angles are covered, whether it's running or passing. How has it been that you've been able to have all of those things and just seem to have the guys ready for that aspect, that unity and that communication?
For sure. The whole line is the one group that needs to stay together and through everything. And that's kind of our main focus is, hey, we're brothers. We're out here grinding with each other every day, and we're going to go get the job done with each other. It takes every single one of us in that room, all 20 of us, to do our part and to do our job. And we learn together. We talk with each other. We discuss different things and make sure we're all on the same page. And that's what brings that success. So.
Tyler Allgeier is currently number 8 in the nation in rushing yards. What's it like blocking for someone who's 220 pounds and has 4.4 speed? What's it just like blocking for one of the nation's leading rushers?
Man, it's fun. That's the one word I could say, is that it's just fun every single play that we're in there. And I love the guy. He's such a great dude and such a great person. I'm so happy to see him, have the success that he is. And it's fun, and he makes us right a lot of the time. And so we're just grateful for him back there. And, even Peeny and all those guys that step in there, they make our job, easy. So.
Jay, and then Sean.
Hey, Clark, with the uncertainty at quarterback and different guys have different cadences and stuff like that, how much stress does it put on the O-line when there's so much change there?
I think that we've had a significant amount of reps with each of those guys, and that we're confident to go into the game and do our thing, no matter who's back there. So
I know you're from the Pacific Northwest, so hopefully we'll get to talk to you in 2 weeks before the Wazoo game.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But do you have any ties to Boise? That's kind of up there in that neck of the woods.
Nope, not really.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll get to talk to you in 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Hey, Clark, you obviously just barely saw Puka walk away. He was talking to us before and talking to us a little bit about that block that I heard a couple people on the sidelines after the game at Utah State say that block for Ty to get him into the end zone kind of helped win the game for him. Can you grade it for us a little bit? How good was that block? And maybe just on a general level, what kind of goes through your mind when you see some of these receivers kind of just throw defenders on their butts downfield like they've been doing?
Yeah, it's awesome. That was a great block, and him, Neil, and some other guys, they've had great blocks, this entire year. And some of those long runs you can only attribute to the wide receivers blocking their guys way downfield. If they didn't do their job and manhandle those guys downfield, then sometimes we wouldn't get in the end zone on those long runs. And so, those guys, they're out there grinding, doing their job and doing their thing. So I'm grateful for them.
Awesome. Thanks, Clark.